So I'll go ahead and get going here with the first initial slides here. Um, I call this culture as prevention, and my name is John Oberly. I'm a member of the Eastern Shoshone tribe. I'm also Arapaho, Comanche, and Osage, and I'm a therapist with the Doya Natsu Healing Center in Fort Wasco, Wyoming, and most of us are familiar with our name change. We were Eastern Shoshone Recovery, and now we're Doya Natsu Healing Center. That's also pretty significant related to this presentation. So hopefully what we're all going to get out of this and is that we'll see that culture actually is prevention. So these are some ideas of the possible topics, and we are going to hit on some of these topics. I'm sure there's dozens and dozens of examples. So language preservation is, of course, an important part of preserving our culture. The sweat lodge, the ceremonies, other healing ceremonies that we have. And it's really supporting those things, but maybe also participating in those things. Powwow, it's important to understand the distinction, that it is mainly a social thing for Native people, but it's also can have spiritual reasons that people dance. So, and that just comes down to everyone understanding of powwow and the different types of powwows. Of course, singing and dancing and our songs, artwork, rites of passage, any other sort of healthy gathering can be a part of our culture and ways that we participate and practice our gathering. Makes me also think of gathering plants and things of that nature. And then storytelling, and then I know that we have lots of other ideas of how aspects of our culture that we participate in, and that we maybe are a big part of how we live and our daily life. So that's where, like the things I mentioned, like rituals, are important. What is your morning ritual? What is your evening ritual? What are your traditions around food? And maybe it's that we decide every time we have a meal at our center, or we're gonna make sure to include a prayer. And so those are just some ideas about the ways that culture can we can use those different aspects to emphasize our culture and bring it into our practices. So one of the most significant aspects of our culture is our understanding of the medicine wheel. And a lot of times, I know myself as Eastern Shoshone, that a lot of times I was left sort of wondering, what is our understanding of the medicine wheel? And instead of borrowing it from other tribes, which a lot of us have adopted other tribal views of the medicine wheel, we look at animals and include those in the medicine wheel, stages of life, the directions, 4 directions, or even more, right? 7 directions, or the colors, seasons, aspects of our being, like our our physical body, our mental, spiritual, emotional, and it's really there can be a lot included. That's just other things that we might want to include. So this is sort of a look at their medicine wheel. This is sort of a rough draft, I think, based on the Tuesday class with Mr. Curtis Barney that offers his teachings to the class. And this is through my own participation and note-taking in that class, and sort of threw together this medicine wheel, which is pretty, there's a lot on it. It's it's kind of busy slide here, but we can see that it incorporates a lot of important information, such as the colors. You know, that's probably one of the most unique aspects, I think, that I got, besides everything else. You know, all the other information that I got from the classes, the culture class, and so the colors are significant. I think that we understood that the Shoshone medicine wheel has yellow in the east, red in the south, blue in the west, and then green in the north. And then we talked a little bit also about how the colors are significant in the Sundance ceremony, and how we have certain colors that are used in the Sundance. So there's a lot here, and hopefully we can use this information in the work that we do, because this is really the foundation of our understanding of who we are as people, and our unique worldview, and so we want to study this, you know, and if anyone wants this information, I'm sure that we can make it available to you at Doya Natsu, and so I'm going to look at a version of the medicine wheel, a little bit more simplified, and of course this is a medicine wheel that is important for us to have an understanding of. This is sort of based on the Ute medicine wheel, and so we see over here in the east what that direction stands for is the sunrise, birth, and it's really new beginning, and if we're endeavoring on any new endeavor, and beginning a new journey in life, you know, this is probably where we're at. And when we look at it that way, you know, we understand that things have to start a certain way, and it might be a little difficult in the beginning to get started, and that's just a part of growing. And then we move in this direction clockwise to the south, which takes us to midday, represents summertime, and our physical strength. You know, I think the sun and the heat and is the strongest in the summertime, and so we attribute that to the south, and we look at this as sort of like a time of practice, and corresponding to the stage of life of adolescence, where there's a lot of experimentation, there's a lot of trying new things and figuring out maybe what we're about, and then integrating that new knowledge and into our into our life. And then we progress on to the West, and that's really the time of adulthood, where we maybe are living our life, and we might become teachers. It's a time of responsibility, really, and because this of all the directions, I think this is the most important part of the medicine well, because we do have a lot of responsibility for these two directions, our babies and our youth. We have to take care of, and then a lot of times we have to also take care of our elders. And so this is really a time of introspection, where we have to look within and come to terms with how we're doing, and if we're not doing good, we need to change that. And so the final direction here is the north, and of course that's the direction of elder, and by this time, one has a lot of knowledge and wisdom to share. It's also the direction of your spiritual health, and hopefully, this is a stage we'll all reach in our life. But what kind of comes down to the basis of all of that is that this helps form our belief system, and our beliefs are what really drive us and move us forward, and maybe give us the strength to move forward. And so I think that it's important to understand who we are, what we're about, and then that's going to kind of set the groundwork, right, set the framework and the foundation for our understanding. So I think one of the most important and critical ways that we transmit knowledge now and in the past has been through storytelling, and so this is an important thing that we need to understand as a part of our culture that is pretty available to us all, and a lot of times we limit ourselves because we tell ourselves, I'm not a storyteller, and that's a habit we want to get out of that habit, because that's not true. I think we're all storytellers, and we want to continue to use this to our advantage in how we transmit knowledge and use these stories to our advantage to make our materials and ceremonies that we use more culturally relevant. So another thing that we want to incorporate into our practice is the use of smudging, and so this is sort of everyone does it a little differently, right? So some of these things are maybe opening our mind to different ways, and maybe that's a part of how our cultures are going to endure and survive and continue to flourish. So at this point, I'd like to again just sort of encourage people to comment on this, and um, if anyone wants to chime in on how you smudge and how you were taught to smudge, and we can get some different ideas on that. Um, so myself, I think that we just always use cedar to smudge ourselves and then bless ourselves, and then also to cleanse our homes, and we always did it in a certain way. We always stood by the front door, lit the cedar, and said a prayer, and then we walked clockwise around the whole house and got into every room and in the closets, and then in the rooms we would go clockwise and then come out, and we were always told to leave the door cracked or a window cracked, so if there was any bad energy, it would leave that way. So, and then I know certain tribes smudge from the I believe the feet up, and then some tribes start with the head and go down. So I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing it. A lot of times it's tribal specific, and so the next example, I think that's an important idea for us to use in our practice is rite of passage, and I think that sometimes we miss the boat on this. Particularly, I think sometimes when people graduate our program or transition into another phase of the program, and that's. But this is the idea of a rite of passage. So, and I asked Phil if he would like to say some words about rite of passage and how important that is for the Dene people. And Phil, you're welcome to share on this topic here.
Rite of passage is, when they become, for a girl, when she hits her puberty, she becomes a woman. So when she becomes a woman, there's a ceremony done, a 4-day ceremony where the girl participates. She grinds her corn, she runs, and each throughout the day, morning, noon, and then evening, they mold her, they massage her. They got the belief of that as so they won't have hunchbacks. Their hair's gonna be long. They're gonna have long legs and whatnot. It's just molding them in place. And the purpose of that too. I mean, there's a lot of teachings on those. Where you want that girl to have a good, healthy body, good mindset, strong heart, good thinking skills, be generous. So those are the things that what they bless them with is when that girl to have a strong mindset, and then she's gonna become a woman. And so that goes on for 4 days. The fourth day is when they mix the cornmeal that she's been grinding. It was all done by hand. The fourth day, they mix that cake batter. By evening time, they put that cake in the ground. And then that's when the medicine man comes in. That's where they sing. They start off with the Hogan songs. Usually there's 2 sets of ceremonies that takes place for the girls. The first set, as soon as she hits puberty, that first set is done. When she gets her second one, the second one, the next month or so, the second set is done again. So the second set is when the first set from doorway to midway, using that medicine wheel again. You know those songs, that the Hogan songs, they're teaching songs where they go back no matter when that girl was born. They go back and they sing those songs, the struggles, the teachings, all that, all the way to the center. Then when she gets her second set done, they go from the center all the way to the doorway out. So that's the full force, the full circle of the Hogan songs. And in the morning they have a lot of songs, when washing the hair, there's songs for that, and then when she runs early in the morning and in the dawn, there's songs too. They call it Jadisen. Those are the songs that she runs with. But there's a lot of stuff that's attached to it that she's being blessed with when she's out there running. The wealth that she will have, the wealth that she's gonna easily get. The good blessings, the strong mindset, and that she's gonna endure a longer life and to be a good, strong woman. Mm-hmm. So let me stop right there and go to the boys' side. The boys, they still go through those cycles too, because I don't think anybody really does anything for the boys nowadays. Mm-hmm. Is when their voice change. That's when they hit puberty, the boys. But the boys, they usually give them a sweat. And then they usually do the blessing way, the hojanja, the blessing way. The same thing, they sit up all night long, but the boys is just one time, just their first one, that's it. When they change their voice, when they hit that manhood. And those songs are the same way too, how he's going to be a strong guy and how he's going to have a good home that he will support, how he will have his mindset set to a home to where he can be a dad, be the man of the house. Those are all the songs, whatever he's going to endure throughout his life too. Mm-hmm. That's the way, the rite of passage for these young ones. And we still do those ceremonies, and I think more of it nowadays, we're going back to those, which is good though, Mm-hmm. So that's mm-hmm. what I have to say on these rite of passage, and it does help throughout the life of the person, those youth. You gotta help them set their mind, have them get that physical touch of, how to be strong, because grinding that corn, it takes a lot of, you got to press down. You have to hold that weight of yours to grind that stone, to grind the corn. It's a lot of work. And then mm-hmm. the fire too, out there, being out there, tending to that fire. It's hot, it's open fire pit, and it's to feed those woods into those fire pit. And then mm-hmm. when you're setting in the cake, the girl will have to lower down to get to that heat, when she lays that corn husk down.
Yeah.
You tell them that you don't throw it, you got to set it down in the center. So they got to lower their body down to that hole. So it's the structure is, you got to be strong. Even with the boys, the same thing. You got to go into that sweat, you got to endure that heat. Mm-hmm. Those, and when they go to sweat, and if they're singing in there, you're looking at about close to an hour of songs, 45 mm-hmm. minutes. Mm-hmm. So you're going to take that time of probably about 4 hours if you're going to do the whole, maybe even 6. It depends on who's conducting. Sometimes they cut it short, those songs nowadays. So, but if you do
Mm.
the whole, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Even sitting up at night, you got to sit up straight. You can't slouch over, and that's what you guys got to. We have to tell the young ones, sit up straight, sit up straight.
Mm.
So it's all about how to make your body strong and
Yeah.
how to endure that suffering. And then when we come back closing to that ceremony, you share a meal, just like every other tribe does. You know, food. We bring that together, and you share a meal with
Mm.
everybody, and then we do giveaways. Thank you for listening, everybody. So that's just a short stories that I can share with you guys about this kinalta, and then in both the boy and the girl side. So thank you. So
Mhm. Yeah, there's really so much to it. I can't really cover all of the aspects of it and stuff, but the the significance I think of it too is that we can replicate um, rites of passage into the work we do,
mm-hmm.
and it's important that we do that and figure out how to do that. Um, so I know, and you're also involved with horse culture, and that's something that is important for us as Native people, and especially the Plains tribes. We have a strong connection to the horse, and so really, what I was thinking with, I know we're going to be starting the equine therapy, and the thing about it is that we want to do research. We want to bring in experts that understand, some of the symbolism of horses, some of the ways we used to paint the horses, the significance of that, and also um, our understanding of our connection with the horse and where that comes from, um, and why we think um, the horses do heal us so much so. And I know that Missy has an understanding of that, and I would really like for her to participate in some of those sessions and share her thoughts and wisdom about why horses heal us, and it has a lot to do with the development of the brain of the horse, um, and how they have a little stronger, maybe sort of like a psychic ability. So they sort of can naturally feel um, how we feel and connect with us on that level. So it's like they say, a horse knows how you're feeling. A horse knows if you're afraid, and you need to overcome that if you're going to ride a horse. So, but there's lots of um, there's lots of information about that, and I'm really happy that we're going to be moving forward with that equine therapy. So, there's another thing that is about our circles, and that's something we're doing. A lot of this stuff we are doing all this stuff, and it's just sort of like a way of acknowledging that we are already implementing a lot of this into our programs, and it's kind of kudos to us because and I think a lot of the other programs also they're also doing this in their way, and so it's a good thing. I know that the other program there, the White Buffalo, they also do a lot of talking circle and things like that. So the talking circle, that is something we're going to do. I believe it's Saturday for the survivors of Suicide Loss Day, and in the past, that's just been a real powerful get together that we've done, and also with the sweat. I'm not sure if we're incorporating the sweat again this time, but I know that the sharing that we get through the circle, is huge for us as Native people, and it just resonates because I think that it's just a natural feeling for us to be in that circle. I think that probably our most powerful things that we do are in the circle, and all of our meetings that we do. Of course, the sweat lodge is right there, and that's a different type of talking circle, but it's a part of the ceremony that we have, and so when we're in a circle, it just feels good to us, and I'm really grateful that we do a lot of that work. So what other, and we've also done most of these things, food gathering, drum making, the beadwork, all the things that we do. But these are ways of implementing these into our practice, and of course, we can get we can get the benefit of learning these techniques and different ways of expressing ourselves, and it's really important that we continue to do those things. So we pretty much covered this hour almost already, so I want to share with you just a couple of examples of these different ways that culture and therapy practice and traditional, like curriculums and are brought together. One of them I came across is this implementation of seeking safety and traditional practices, and of course, seeking safety curriculum is focuses on trauma and substance use, and really, this is a quote from the paper that this is based on. They did a study of how to make this work in some different communities, and they said decolonization is a practice where indigenous peoples reclaim that which was lost or degraded as a result of colonialism through indigenous traditional healing, rituals, and ceremony. And so when we use our traditional knowledge and we use our culture and all of these things and these tools that we've talked about here, we are in the process of decolonizing, and it's really important that we look at it that way, because that's going to empower us to kind of continue to do this, and hopefully we're going to be doing kind of two things at once. We're going to be educating ourselves on our culture and our traditional ways, and our beliefs are going to be strengthened, and we're going to be able to teach that and pass that along to our children. And then on the other part of it, we're going to also be healing ourselves, and so we're going to be kind of killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. So This was a look at the parts of the um, medicine wheel that they developed to go along with the seeking safety curriculum. Um, and of course, you know, this is another one of those really busy slides, but we can see that in the East, they have the healing through traditional Aboriginal healing methods. South is the impact of education and knowledge through the seeking safety sharing circles. West is awareness, understanding, and the link between trauma, substance use, and the impact of colonization. And then the fourth one in the North is integration and application of knowledge. And so we can see that, you know, it's all about the stages of the medicine wheel and symbolically how that moves naturally clockwork direction from east to north, and then in the center is resilience. That's where the self, the idea of the self, family, community, elders, society, and healers are right there in the middle, and that's where our resilience comes from. So there's another example, and this is from how Abraham Maslow lived with and studied with the Blackfeet to develop his hierarchy of needs, which is something that is used, you know, all over in the human development and in psychology courses. So, and a lot of people don't know that, you know, that's where he got his idea of the hierarchy, was from the Blackfoot. And the thing about it is that actually he misinterpreted what they were sharing with him, and so the actual First Nations perspective of the hierarchy is on the right there, and it has actually self-actualization, which was at the top of Maslow's hierarchy, is at the bottom of the First Nations perspective, and then it goes up from there to community actualization, and then at the top is cultural perpetuity. So actually the native way of progressing is that we already know who we are, we know what we're about, and we're going to follow through with what we're good at, and then that's going to help strengthen our community, and then our cultural ways, our traditions are going to just continue on, and so that's the native perspective. Is sort of a little different. I think the distinction is that the native perspective is all about inclusion, and the Western perspective and Maslow's hierarchy is about exclusion and individuality versus the community. So, and that's really at the heart of what our understanding of our native worldview is about, is trying to work together, share new ideas, be open-minded. I think being welcoming, being understanding of differences. That's what that's all about, and really the greater good is going to benefit us all, and so that's sort of like what I'd like to end on, is that idea that, you know, we can use our culture in this really important way to share our knowledge and grow our programs, and really, in the end, it's going to benefit us all and heal us all in its time. So, thanks everyone for joining us today, and I know, and I'll just leave you guys there. Thank you, everybody.